I have this great new plan, which I came up with after the last video, which is that I'm gonna match my tea mugs in each video with the topic of that video. So today we have the bad and bougie mug because I'm going to be talking about bad guys that I want to bang. Oh, also, good news, I'm going to be at MCM this month for the whole weekend working at a stand. I haven't done a stand there in years. I'm going to be in the author's corner with my own little zone, and I'm going to be there Friday to Sunday, except I have a panel at 1:45 on the Sunday. So you guys can come down, I'll sign books, we can have a chat, you can look at the merch, and we're going to have an early version of the official Rosewood sorting quiz, which will help if you want to then buy some merch, is what I'm thinking. Info below, come and see me. Right, so villains. I figured villains, that would be good spooky season content. My friends tell me I'm becoming quite predictable in which character is inevitably gonna be my personal love interest. I have been told my taste is sick, completely abhorrent, and my personal fave, problematic. But the heart wants what it wants, people, and for me, what the heart wants is the embodiment of pure evil and darkness. I can't help it. The way I am. I feel like I should warn you guys that this list isn't like the cutesy typical bad boy types that people have a crush on, like Zuko and Hans of the Southern Isles. These characters are more like, you know, when you see the ocean and there'll be the really dark, deepest part of it and you feel compelled to wade out into it and let the sea consume you into the unknowable darkness and absorb your mortal body. Classic romance. I feel like about 10% of people watching are gonna hear that and be like, yes, I understand. I see you. Right, so let's get into this sick twisted video, shall we? Okay, first up, I'm gonna ease you in slowly. Somebody not too hard to get on board with. Mad Titan and destroyer of universes, Thanos. Now, I'll be honest, he got a bit weedy and kind of sad and pathetic towards the last films. The more we saw of him, the less mystery there was. And you know that phrase, familiarity breeds contempt? I really felt like that's what was happening in mine and Thanos' relationship. I was just getting sick of looking at him. My favorite iteration of Thanos is in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, where we've been introduced to this character, Ronan, who's supposed to be the really big evil bad guy. And then Thanos shows up and like a bug, he just flicks him back into his place when he says,
"The only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you. Your politics bore me. Your demeanor is that of a pouty child."
I just really like that line. It got me, you know. I also like when he says,
And apparently, you alienated my favorite daughter, Gamora.
The idea of him just saying in front of his other daughter who his favorite daughter is, you know, dick move. I appreciate it. The actual best version of Thanos isn't even in the movies though, it's in the comic books where he wipes out half of humanity because he's trying to woo and seduce Lady Death, who's basically like his galactic god high school crush. He's liked her for a really long time and this seems to be the only way he can get her to notice him. It's like Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You, singing on the bleachers.
Can't take my eyes off of you.
It's just like that. Okay, next up is the deliciously taste of buttery biblical figure, Black Phillip, aka Satan himself. Satan takes on many forms throughout pop culture media. Some of them are a little lacking. But my favourite is Black Phillip from one of my favourite horror movies, The Witch. The Witch is the best kind of horror film because it's not actually scary if you're an adolescent woman. You're fine. Satan is all on board with you. You're good. Join his cult. You really come out on top. Quite literally, like, you get to fly. What's really great about Black Phillip is that he spends most of the film minus about 10 seconds at the end as a goat. Just this ominous, dark figure in the background who doesn't even speak. Everything about this goat is ominous. The children claim that he's taught them this creepy nursery rhyme, and he even partakes in a little bit of innocent murder towards the end. Does this make me some kind of goat furry? You know, I really don't think there's a word for what I am. Anyway, he shows up in his sexy human form for about 10 seconds towards the end of the film to offer the main girl the taste of butter and a pretty dress, and to guide her hand because she does not know how to write her own name.
I cannot write my name.
I will guide thy hand.
Please, Mr. Satan, I suddenly don't know how to write. Will you guide my hand and take me with you to the coven of witches? Please? I'm going straight to hell, which is where I want to be. And if you join him and you cover yourself in the blood of children, then you can fly. Sounds like a good deal to me. Next up, and I did say I was going to ease you in slowly because this next one is kind of conceptual. Next is the part of Lord Voldermort that is a diary. Just that single bit, none of the other bits. Voldemort is kind of, let's just say he's really not my type at all and leave it at that. His diary, on the other hand, Tom Riddle's little old diary, that tiny book filled with the potential for evil and eternity. That is the real stuff. And that part of Tom Riddle is now in that diary forever. The very moment that he succumbed to evil and the lure of the dark arts, immortalized. Delightful. Don't even get me started on the heavy ASMR of that scene where Harry is properly introduced to Tom Riddle and the diary greets him and says hello and tells him his name. All of the scritchy writing sounds and the sensual page turning.
My name is Harry Potter.
Whew. The whole diary scene is just really good. I just want to run my fingers along the pages of that diary, hear the little page-turny sounds of evil incarnate. That's some good shit. Okay, we're gonna have a little break now and do a quick fire round of cartoon villains that I like. Number 1, Jasper from Steven Universe. Give me that. Emotionally unstable, possessive, sentient piece of rock. Yes. Number 2, Cell from Dragon Ball Z. He looks like a bug, he eats people with his tail, he could potentially bring an end to mankind and the whole universe if he gets his hands on those sexy androids. What can I say? 6-year-old Connie thought he was hot. I have no power over this. Number 3 is Hordak from She-Ra, but to be clear, it used to be Hordak until we found out that there's an even bigger and better and more evil Hordak somewhere out there in the She-Ra multiverse, and now my sights have turned to him, who we will hereby refer to as Bigger Hordak. Okay, so we have 2 left, and they're theoretically both cartoons, but also kind of not, so I'll let them explain themselves. So I couldn't do this list without mentioning good old Chernobog. Chernobog? I don't know how you say his name. You know, the big muscular horned demon from Fantasia? That one. He's from ancient Slavic mythology, and he's basically just the opposite of good. And I respect that. It's simple and to the point. And while he's lacking in sex appeal, he's certainly the most obvious form of evil incarnate. The problem is there's just not much subtlety about it. Like, there's no mystery with Chernobog, but you know, he'll do in a pinch. The very last one, and you're gonna have to hear me out on this one, okay? Bear with me. God from the Prince of Egypt. Now I know you're all going, but God is the exact opposite of all the other things on your list. But counterpoint, is he? If they didn't want me to have a crush on God in Prince of Egypt, they shouldn't have made him so all-powerful and commanding and ruthless and aloof, okay? It's not my fault. He has this real sensual, whispering allure to his voice that just gives me these powerful chills. And he's very commanding. He makes Moses take his sandals off before coming into his home. He knows what he wants, and he literally has Moses cowering at just the sheer force of his voice at one point. It's very appealing. Also, hear me out. His promise of a land of milk and honey, and the bit where he says, I shall teach you what to say, really reminds me of Black Phillip when he's like, the taste of butter and I shall guide thy hand.
A land flowing with milk and honey. Who am I to lead these people? They'll never believe me, they won't even listen. I shall teach you what to say.
See what I'm saying? Very similar vibes. And that's just the first time we meet him. Later, he kills like 1 million children after killing like 1 million people. And I know, all for the greater good. But you know who else killed half of humanity for the greater good? Thanos. I'm seeing a lot of similarities here. God is a vindictive, all-seeing, all-powerful, whether you like it or not, force in that film. And he's definitely the most aloof about it. He goes about everything with this really indifferent calm. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get Moses to do this thing. And because I'm all-seeing, I know that it's gonna cause millions of deaths. But I can do what I want. I'm the very essence of the universe. What are you gonna do to stop me? That's what God sounds like in my head. Everything about God in that film screams of the very dark depth of the ocean that you just want to lay down in and let absorb your mortal soul. Yeah. Okay, so that's my main list of villains that I like, but I just want to give an honourable mention to Kylor Ren, who didn't quite make the list because he's just a little bit too much of a normie and he's constantly getting his ass kicked by Rey, which I kind of love. But he just doesn't quite embody evil in the same way as all of the others. I know he'd like to think he does, but it's just something you're born with, and he doesn't have it. He just doesn't. As Thanos would say,
Your demeanor is that of a pouty child.
But he's cute. And I'm sure if he knew somebody called him cute, he would throw a big tantrum and break a bunch of machinery. Adorable. Let me know what villains you would put in your list. Are you a Pennywise the Clown kind of person, or a Darth Vader enthusiast? I would love to know that I'm not alone in being totally weird. Right, I think that's enough being really weird for the day. We've had our dose of it. Hopefully I can find some other kindred spirits out there who too are attracted to the call of the void. I'll see you all at MCM. Love ya. Bye.